In a distant future, humanity has colonized various planets across the galaxy. The Earth's government, the United Nations of Earth, UNOE, expands its reach to establish control over these colonies. However, a tyrannical despot named Belisarius seeks to dominate these worlds and impose his rule. The story begins with a peaceful colony on a distant moon that refuses to comply with Belisarius' demands. In response, Belisarius sends a massive fleet of warships to crush the rebellion and assert his authority. The colony, led by a charismatic leader named Mara, desperately sends a distress signal seeking help from anyone willing to stand against the impending doom. The story unfolds in a distant future where humanity has established colonies across various planets and moons. One such peaceful colony is situated on a remote moon, led by Mara, a strong and principled leader who values freedom and independence for her people. Belisarius emerges as the primary antagonist, a ruthless despot seeking to expand his dominion over the galaxy. He rules with an iron fist, enforcing strict control and oppressive policies on the colonies under his influence. Despite Belisarius' demands for submission and allegiance, Mara's colony adamantly refuses to comply, standing as a beacon of resistance against his tyrannical rule. The colony's refusal triggers Belisarius' wrath, prompting him to mobilize a massive fleet of warships to crush the rebellion and assert his authority. As Belisarius' fleet approaches the moon, Mara and her people realize the imminent danger they face. In a desperate attempt to save her colony, Mara sends out a distress signal, pleading for assistance from anyone who would stand against the impending invasion. This act sets the stage for the impending conflict, showcasing the stark contrast between Belisarius' authoritarian rule and Mara's unwavering commitment to freedom. It establishes the central conflict that drives the rest of the story, the struggle of a determined colony against overwhelming oppression and the looming threat of Belisarius' forces. Meanwhile, on Earth, a disillusioned former soldier, Captain Jake Lawson, who served under the UNOE, struggles with the guilt of past battles and the injustices perpetrated by his former superiors. When he learns about the colony's distress signal, he sees an opportunity for redemption and a chance to make a difference. Driven by a sense of duty and justice, Jake recruits a small team of skilled fighters, including tech-savvy engineer Dr. Eva Chen and a witty, resourceful pilot named Marcus. Together, they set out on a risky mission to gather allies from different corners of the galaxy to confront Belisarius' overwhelming forces. Their journey takes them to various planets, encountering diverse cultures and facing numerous challenges. Along the way, they form alliances with rebel factions, former soldiers, and even unexpected alien allies, uniting under the common goal of stopping Belisarius and his tyrannical regime. The narrative shifts to Earth, introducing Captain Jake Lawson, a former soldier disillusioned by the UNO's actions and haunted by the consequences of past battles. He grapples with a sense of guilt and a desire for redemption. When Jake learns about Mara's distress signal, he sees an opportunity to make a difference and seek redemption for his past. Despite initial doubts and reluctance, he decides to take action, driven by a renewed sense of duty and a desire to stand against injustice. Assembling the team, Jake recruits a small but diverse team to aid him in the mission. Dr. Eva Chen, a brilliant engineer disillusioned with the establishment, joins with her technological expertise. Marcus, a witty and resourceful pilot, also joins the cause. Each member brings unique skills and perspectives to the team. Seeking allies, the team embarks on a perilous journey across the galaxy, visiting different planets and encountering diverse cultures. They seek out potential allies among rebel factions, former soldiers, and even unexpected alien groups, working to build a coalition against Belisarius' forces. Throughout their journey, The team faces various challenges, both external and internal. They navigate through hostile territories, forge alliances with wary factions, and confront their own personal doubts and fears. These experiences serve to strengthen their resolve and bond as a cohesive unit. This act highlights the formation of the resistance against Belisarius, showcasing the challenges faced in uniting disparate groups while exploring the personal growth and motivations of the key characters. It sets the stage for the impending confrontation as the coalition gathers strength and prepares to face the overwhelming might of Belisarius' regime. As the forces of freedom gather, they prepare for an epic showdown against Belisarius' armada. With limited resources and outnumbered, they strategize and leverage each ally's unique strengths, devising a plan to take down Belisarius' oppressive regime once and for all. The final battle erupts in space above the besieged moon, showcasing breathtaking space combat sequences and ground skirmishes. Jake and his team lead the charge, displaying courage and determination, while Mara and her resilient people fight fiercely to defend their home. In a pulse-pounding climax, the rebel forces engage Belisarius' fleet in a spectacular showdown, culminating in a decisive confrontation between Jake and Belisarius aboard the enemy flagship. Through wit, bravery, and sacrifice, Jake manages to disable Belisarius' control, turning the tide of the battle. As Belisarius' forces falter, the people rise up, inspired by the courage of the rebels. The tyrant's grip on power weakens, and his fleet retreats. The coalition of rebels emerges victorious, and the colony is saved. Preparation and strategy. The coalition of rebels, led by Jake and his team, along with Mara and her people, prepare for the impending battle against Belisarius' formidable forces. They strategize, leveraging each ally's unique strengths and resources, and fortify the moon's defenses in anticipation of the onslaught. The battle erupts in space above the besieged moon, showcasing intense and spectacular space combat sequences. Belisarius' massive fleet clashes with the combined forces of the rebels, displaying dazzling displays of firepower and strategic maneuvers. Meanwhile, on the moon's surface, ground skirmishes take place as Mara and her resilient people fight fiercely to defend their home against Belisarius' ground forces, displaying remarkable bravery and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Leadership and sacrifice. Amidst the chaos of battle, Jake and his team lead the charge, demonstrating courage, leadership, and selflessness. They navigate through the mayhem, making strategic decisions and rallying their allies, even as sacrifices are made and the cost of the conflict becomes increasingly apparent. Decisive confrontation. In a pulse-pounding climax, Jake confronts Belisarius aboard the enemy flagship in a high-stakes showdown. Through wit, bravery, and sacrifices made by the rebel forces, Jake manages to disable Belisarius' control and turn the tide of the battle in a critical moment. As Belisarius' forces falter and retreat, the people rise up, inspired by the courage of the rebels. The tide of battle decisively shifts, and the coalition emerges victorious, liberating the moon from Belisarius' oppressive regime. With Belisarius defeated and his reign of tyranny ended, peace and hope are restored to the liberated moon and other oppressed worlds. The coalition forged in the battle against oppression paves the way for a new era of cooperation among diverse cultures and species across the galaxy. This act culminates in a triumphant victory for the united forces of freedom, highlighting the resilience, bravery, and sacrifices made by the rebels. It emphasizes the power of unity and solidarity in overcoming tyranny and the potential for a brighter future built on the principles of freedom and cooperation. With Belisarius defeated and his regime crumbling, peace and hope are restored to the liberated moon and other oppressed worlds. The unity forged in the battle against tyranny paves the way for a new era of cooperation among the diverse cultures and species across the galaxy. Jake and his team bid farewell to their newfound allies, leaving behind a legacy of bravery and unity. As they depart into the depths of space, they carry the lessons learned and the friendships forged during their journey, ready to face new adventures and challenges in the vast universe. Rebel Moon ends with a hopeful note, emphasizing the resilience of the human spirit and the power of unity in the face of oppression, inspiring others to stand up against tyranny and fight for freedom wherever it may be threatened.